The interior is mostly all buttoned up and put back together. So I've got the seats in. This seat's not bolted all the way in because I'm gonna try to find this plastic at the junkyard and replace it because it's broken. But that seat over there is bolted in. Got the console back in. It's nice and clean now. It's just faded. So I could have painted it, but I didn't really want to put all that work into it. So here is the interior as it sits right now. Not too bad. A lot better than before. Carpet is not perfect, but once I get those floor mats back in, it'll look pretty good. Now I am on to cleaning up these headlights. So here's what they look like right now. Not terrible, but pretty foggy, so hopefully I can improve upon that. I think they came out pretty good. After some wet sanding from 600 all the way up to 2500, and then hitting it with ceramic coat. Better than before.
Yeah, how convenient that you didn't bring that up when we were doing mine.
I thought about it after the fact.
Wow.
And I was thinking about what went wrong and what we should have done differently.
Oh, well. I'm glad it crossed your mind at some point.
I mean, they're not perfect. If I had like a finer grit sandpaper, it probably would have been better. But at least they're clear now. All right, making a quick run at pick and pull here. I'm sitting in the engine bay of a 06 Impreza manual car. I'm getting this starter out because I need a starter. As my buddy said, the bearings in my starter are bad. Oh good, there's only one loose bolt holding it in. Oh, there's a nut here. I'm stunned. Why is there a nut there?
I don't know, because somebody bolted the starter back into the...
Apparently.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
well, I need to two-hand this. It's junkyard starter time. So we're back here at the homestead and about ready to take this air box out here and disconnecting a few things. And yeah, that came pre-loosened for me. So it's probably been like that for ever and ever. Okay, got the air box out of the way. I'm in here and got all the bolts out for the starter. Got the starter disconnected, so it is ready to fall out. I just got to finagle it out through here between some heater core hoses. There she is. There's the old starter. There's the new one, new used one. So hopefully those will swap out just fine. I'm about to find out. See if this one works. Let's try out the new starter and see how it works. I think maybe it sounds a little bit better. I don't know if that was 100% of the issue. But hey, it starts. So that's good. A little bit of rattle when it's cold. But nothing I'm too worried about. This has a lot of miles on it. Well, I'm here at Pick and Pull. I'm in search of axles today. So we got a 01 Outback. It's not a Legacy, it's an Outback. And we got a stick shift. So correct year, correct transmission. So these axles should work. So those axles have the little pin that hold them in. They look like they're in okay shape. Don't see any rips or anything. So I think I'm gonna pull those out and inspect them. All right, so I got the axle nut broken free. Got that off. That's good. It's not all seized up in there. Got these to spin. All right. Now the other side. All right. That took a little bit of persuasion off camera, but got that broken free. So, I'm gonna need a punch. So, a couple punches here for the pin. I'm gonna hold the axle in. This is my hammer right here. Got it. Now I just gotta find it because I might need that pin. So here's a pin. Holds the axle in. The transmission, I suppose. All I know is you gotta take that out to get the axle out. So there's one. Put it right here and hopefully not lose it. Easy. Number two. Okay. So these two bolts right here that hold the strut to the spindle. I'm gonna pop those out, move the strut around, and then pull the spindle back. Axle should pop free. Might have to take off these brake lines and the ABS line there. Apparently on these Outbacks, the lower bolt is not a 19. So that's interesting. So I'm gonna start with the top one. Hopefully it's not too stuck. I have to get that breaker bar out again. Don't need that. Now how weird. The bottom one, the nut's like an 18, but the bolt's like 17. The top, they're both 19s. Just like it's like my Forester. Okay, so this bottom one, that's like not a 19, it's like a 18 for whatever reason. It was actually kind of loose, so even with the oversized wrench, it's coming off. Okay, so got the nuts off. Now I'm gonna smack these bolts out with my junkyard hammer. You gotta travel light when you're at the junkyard. Called multi-tools right there. All right, I've encountered some alien technology here. This whatever this does for the alignment. This bolt didn't want to come out, even though it feels like it should, it didn't want to come out. So I just did one of these, peeled back on it, and axle was able to pop out. So now, like that. There we go. So you see it's got that end. That's specific to what I'm looking for. And from what I've seen, not just manual cars came with that, with the pin, but my car definitely needs that. And cross-referencing on Rock Auto, it has to be from this sort of generation, and obviously with the pinhole. So this axle looks pretty good. Boot is a little squished right there, but not torn or anything. Just a little deformed. All right, now time for this side. Got that one off. Now time for the lower one, which is smaller. Which is weird because on my Forester, they're all four of them are 19s. And this one is definitely not a 19. But I can get my 19 on it, enough to hold it because I'm at the junkyard. I don't care if I round it off. I just need to get the nut off. Okay. Well, got the top bolt out and loosened the lower one. So I'm just going to go in here and pry it back just like that. Then I'll work the axle out. That should give us plenty of room, just like on the other side. I'm over here on a 05 Impreza, and you notice these axles have a retaining clip that hold them in, whereas axles I need use the pin style. So this is a 05 Impreza Outback with the 5-speed. So same transmission, basically same motor, but different axles. Back at the homestead in the shop, we got our axles, and yeah, so I'm going to start by replacing that ball joint, hopefully. So I'm going to see if I can get that out. And I'll get this out, and I'll be able to finagle the entire strut that way, and should be able to get this axle out. And as you see here, boot's torn on that. So going to replace on that. Boot's torn on that one. Going to replace on that. That ball joint, boot is torn. So I like to buy brand new ball joints. So not going to put used stuff in for that. So we're going to start with trying to get the ball joints out, and then the axle should come out pretty easy. Also need to find a tie rod boot there for the steering rack. Need one on both sides. So hopefully I can get some of those ordered up. I think I'll get brand new ones because, you know, just cause. Which means I'll have to take all this apart and unthread that and unbolt that, and yeah. So I did it on my Forester, and I'll probably end up doing it on this car too. And last night I got the fog lights taken out because this side was cracked, broken, and this side had a hole in it too because they're glass. Now they're sitting in the trash can. Here's the passenger side. Probably got to order brand new ones because they only made that style of fog light for 2 years from what I was able to find online. It looked like it was 02, 03 Impreza only, just the Impreza. So that's kind of fun. And yeah, see, they bolt right there. The Outbacks, they bolt up here, and pretty much most other Subaru. So that was fun getting those out because I broke 2 bolts on that side and broke a bolt on that side. So I had to drill them out. I'll probably order replacement brand new fog lights, might go yellow, and then I'll just put a bolt through there with a nut on the back. All right, so I'm gonna get to it now. I'm gonna try to finagle that ball joint out of there and get the axle out. So we'll see how quickly it goes. If it goes pretty easily, then maybe I'll get both these axles changed out and the ball joints taken care of tonight. All right, a little bit of persuasion, a little bit of hammering. The big screwdriver, got the big hammer. It's coming out. That's pretty easy, actually. All right, got that side out. Here she is. It was definitely time to change that. Okay, so to show you the way I did it on the other side, we'll repeat the same process on this side. Start by taking the cotter pin out of the ball joint nuts there, the castle nut. I'm gonna put a 19 on here. Loosen that. Okay. And the ball joint is a 14 for the bolt that clamps onto the ball joint. So now in this joint here that holds the ball joint in, it's like a tension joint with a bolt going through. So you have to basically spread that joint, and then with enough hammering, the ball joint will just drop right out. So there is ball joint spreading tools, you know, for that clamp joint. I'm just gonna use a screwdriver, flathead with the hammering end. Kind of drive that in there. Get showered with dirt. Okay, so that's about as far as I can get that to go without it coming back out. So it's kind of holding the joint a little bit. I'm gonna open. I'm gonna hit it from the side here. That should put some force down on the ball joint, and that should drop out. So there we go. I'm gonna lose this about 10 times. Going yet? Oh, we got it. All right. Little tap tap. Got it. There we go. Okay. Easy. One bad ball joint. I'm going to start on this side, pulling the axle, which is 32 millimeter. Zap that off, and it should all come out pretty good. Got my punch for hammering out the little the pin, the torsion pin or whatever it's called. It's a little harder to get to on a car that has exhaust on. So. There we go. Got our beloved roll pin out. Just like that. Like a professional. Okay. We'll drop on out. She is. This is why I changed it. Doesn't look like it's gone like too long with the boot torn like this because there's still grease in it. Actually doesn't look too dirty or anything, so the boots must have unalived themselves recently. This side's still good. It's usually the transmission side that feels all the stress. Take my axle here, give both ends a good little cleaning. Also going to put a little bit of grease in here, a little bit of high temp bearing grease. Probably don't have to, but you know, just in case. Just so it's not going in dry. So you have to line it up to where the splines are engaged and you can get the pin through the hole, and the hole in the snub that's in the transmission. So I'm sure that'll take a couple tries. Grab the bungee from the bungee bin over there. Find a place to wrap it around. We'll do that. So that should give me some room. Be able to shoehorn the axle through here. Now I have a lot more space to work. So I'm going to just gonna finagle this around. Okay. Almost wondering. I'm not sure if this car will survive to see new ball joints, but I'm going to slather it with some Tin Man grease so they're easy to take out someday again. Just like that. They're non-serviceable, sealed for life. Yeah, plenty of space. We'll be good on that. Okay. I'm going to continue with the axle install now. Not yet. Try to tackle it straight on, huh? But no, I never do. Give these splines a preemptive little greasing. There we go. That's enough to get it started. All right. There we go. Now it's drawing in. So, before I tighten that up all the way, I'm gonna go ahead and put the roll pin in. This side is done. So, phone died, but got the new axle in, got the ball joint in, and we'll work on the other side now, and then tomorrow I'll torque everything down and put the cotter pin in. So I got the axle out on the other side. Here's what that one's looking like. So you see over here, it's a lot more room to work. I'll try to get these splines lined up, pushed on. So the punch will hold it in from falling out while I try to maneuver this side in. That lined up. Release the bungee. Like that. Let's get that started. All right. Put a little bit of grease on there. Get that started. I think we're good. I think I'm gonna go from this side. Yeah, just like that. Pull nut here. It's in. I can take the new hardware. Even comes with the lock washer. Thread that in. Yep. All right, so next day we're back, ready to torque some things down. So I looked this one up. This one is 29 foot-pounds, and because it's a swivel joint, I guess you don't technically have to have the suspension loaded, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to torque it down and put the cotter pin in. So that one is good. So those are good. Those aren't very tight. So basically just snug it down enough to where you can see the hole coming through the castle nut and you can slide the pin in there. 30 foot-pounds on that or so, and then 35 on the bolt for the ball joint to the hub right there. Okay, torque this one down to about 35 or so. Just like that. And the axle bolt Gets torqued down to about 137. So I'll have a screwdriver in there to keep the rotor from spinning. I have it set to about 137, 138. And yeah, crank her down. Okay, that was tight enough. Just like that. On this one, I had to do a little bit of surgery on. So differential fluid looks pretty good actually. It's actually really clean. Doesn't really smell too bad. It has a seal on it. So I got the pressure washer out. We're gonna start getting this paint cleaned up. But it's looking pretty good. It's a good 5-footer.
Get as much tension out of this side of the belt as you physically can, which is always a huge ordeal. This is where we're at. We've resorted to drastic measures.
That's gonna wrap this video. So now that we got some of the mechanicals sorted, next up we're gonna start on some detailing, and we're gonna hit it with the clay bar and the buffer. Hopefully bring back some of the shine into this paint, get this car looking pretty good. So stay tuned for that. That's gonna be coming up in the next video.